Not a lot of people know how to get strong in this weird environment without equipment, without barbells. A lot of people are not talking about isometrics, which is a great training tool for keeping your nervous system sharp in a time that you can't do strength work. So in this video, we're gonna teach you how to build the quarantine machine.
Lately I can't take it. Room full of silence, lost in translation. Go ahead and put me in the sequel, but we gave away the ending, cause the beginning was see-through love. The common time, so the modern man down. So I had to hit him with that modern man sound. On to the next one, put your heart in other people. Search high and low, trying to find another equal.
Everybody out there right now is trying to figure out a way to keep training, to keep doing business as usual, to make sure that they're still getting the gains that they want to be able to compete at the level that they want. The problem is that a lot of these at-home solutions, they've failed to be able to solve the problem of how do I get my strength work in? How do I achieve a high, potent, maximal effort contraction with the equipment and the space constraints that I have? This is a solution that, for the people who are able to build this platform and regularly 2 to 3 times a week touch strength sessions, they're gonna have such a bigger advantage over those who weren't able to get those kinds of strength sessions in. All right, here's the supplies that you'll need to build this platform. First off, you'll need a big piece of plywood. If you get the big sheet like we did, you can ask one of the employees to cut it in half for you. Our final dimensions were 48 inches by 36 inches, but it can really be any size that you want. Next, you're gonna need a 4-foot piece of 4x4. Again, ask an employee there to cut it in half for you if you don't have the means to do that by yourself. Next, you'll get 2 pieces of chain. We made ours about 6 feet long each, mostly because we wanted to be able to do overhead work, and I'm about 6 feet tall, but also 6 feet to ensure that you get good social distancing measures. Again, after you pick out your piece of chain, kindly ask an employee to come over and help you cut it to the right length. You'll get 4 good strong carabiners. They should be able to bear a load of about 250 pounds each. You'll want to have at least 6 good eye screws. Ours are about 2 inches long and they're about 5/16 of an inch wide. Get a box of 2-inch deck screws or carpenter screws. You'll only use about 8 in total, so if you have some at home, you don't have to buy a whole box for that. You'll need a good strong steel pipe. We chose ours to be about 1 inch in diameter to replicate a 28.5 millimeter barbell. But for those ladies out there, make sure that you get a slightly smaller diameter to make it closer to your barbell size.
I'd like to stay in love with you.
All right, here's the steps to build the platform. First, set your 4x4s flush with the long sides of the plywood. We wanted to center ours too, so since the plywood is 48 inches front to back and the 4x4 is 2 feet in length, you want it to be about 12 inches from each end. Once the 4x4s are set at the right width, set the plywood on top of them and then drill the carpenter screws in from the top. We did about 4 per side to make sure that it was extra secure. After the plywood is secured to the 4x4, you can flip it over. From here, we pre-drilled the hole for the eye screw into the top of the 4x4. After that, you can thread a screwdriver through the eye hole of the screw and screw it in by hand. If you got additional eye screws, you can screw them into the side of the 4x4 to use later for band attachments. Once the eye screws are in place, attach the carabiner to the eye screw and then through the chain. An optional step here, since Easter is coming up and we want to make sure that everybody's festive, you can spray paint your platform in beautiful pastel colors. I'm about as far away from a handyman as someone can possibly get, and still, this project took me only about 15 minutes in total. The price ended up being right around $80. The really good thing about isometrics, and especially overcoming isometrics, where you're basically pressing against an immovable object, means that you're creating a maximal effort contraction, which is impossible to do with any other body weight movements. You want to be pressing against something so forcefully and knowing that you're not going to be able to move it. Isometrics have been around for a long time, and a lot of really high-level power lifters and bodybuilders will include them in their program. I think it's not nearly as sexy as being able to go through the full range of motion movements, and a lot of times it's just not nearly as fun because it's really fucking hard to do. But with the constraints that we have to work in and still making sure that we get regular exposure to strength work, they're one of the best solutions that we have right now. And I think when we talk about strength levels, it's not just about the ability of the muscles to contract, it's about also maintaining levels of neural drive, being able to touch high levels of power output. So a lot of times when you picture training with low equipment or low space, people lose the ability to tap into those levels of power output. So being able to hit maximal effort contractions against an immovable object is, I think, invaluable to be able to include. On the website, we talk about how to perform isometrics, some common tips, how to set up the proper joint angles for the kinds of positions you want to achieve power in, and a step-by-step walkthrough about how to actually build this platform from scratch.
Plus, if you want help programming with this setup, you can find more information on the website. Like Adam said, it's trainingthinktank.com/quarantine machine.